These are the questions from Chat GPT. As an INTJ or an ISTJ, how do you approach problem solving and decision making? What strategies or frameworks do you find most effective?
What kind of problem, what kind of decision? What's the context? These are like sort of HR interview questions. They're not.
Well, I'm being a HR woman now. I'm a psychology student, so I'm a HR woman.
That's the point, because everyone's lies HR women. Right? That's what you're meant to do in an interview. That's the entire point, to see if you can lie convincing. I think that's the point anyway. I can't think of any other point might be to the actual question. As you know, can you can you, if asked a question like what are your weaknesses, come up with a complete lie that sounds convincing? I think that's the point.
It shouldn't become that. It's like, have you done the 10 minutes preparation before the interview?
Yeah, that's it.
And that's a useful test. Like, if somebody hasn't done 10 minutes of preparation before the interview, you shouldn't hire them.
Did you do 10 minutes preparation for your interview?
I mean, I do 10 minutes. I do more than 10 minutes preparation for every interview.
I've never done interview preparation.
Yes, and your current job is?
INTJs and ISTJs tend to have strong intellectual curiosity and desire for knowledge. How do you approach acquiring new information or exploring new subjects of interest? Are there any, well, I'll just ask you this question because this one is better. Are there any particular areas of knowledge that you find particularly captivating? What are you interested in?
Anything to do with sort of systems. Anything that's, it's more like, the railway, history, architecture, things that are gigantic systems of different interlinked things that sort of work together in a way that's
the canals.
very pleasing. The canals, yes. It's very pleasing.
What do you like? What do you find interesting?
That's quite a broad question. I mean, most things in history which are part of I'm a bit of a Whig in history terms, anything that moves the world forward and actually changed how the world is today, I'm very interested in. So I'm very interested in De Montfort's rebellion and how it introduced Parliament and the Reformation.
What do you find interesting about the Reformation? Like specific aspects?
I mean, there are
the
fact that one thing I'm finding fascinating at the moment is the way the invention of printing allowed all kinds of scurrilous, attacks on people and ridiculous levels of vitriol in pamphlets that completely helped break apart the Catholic Church's monopoly on moral standing.
Any particular area of history?
I find it funny how I think less specifically they still to venerate De Montfort, who was a traitor by any reasonable standard of the state's sort of purview. It's funny how these things start.
Very cavalier attitude. I mean,
yeah, funny.
Is there any particular area of history that appeals to you?
Yes.
What?
Post-war Britain.
Post-war Britain. Yeah.
Just post-war. It's the most systematised. It's probably the time when we had the most. Partly it is aesthetics, but I think it is the aesthetics of systematisation. Aesthetics of
high modernism.
Yes, I think that's a good summary word for it. Yeah, it's the heart, but I just like high modernism for that reason. I like modernism architecture, right? Because high modernism is essentially this idea that everything can be put into, as you like to say about me, into a giant cube of knowledge, and you can sort of pull things out as required, and all of it makes sense in its coherence internally. It's all sort of built up ex novo as this totalizing thing. Stays.
It's quite rare to be a Tory high modernist, even though I can understand the link.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be. Certainly for it's interesting to me because there's a lot of sort of soft Tories, largely, who are very post-war Tory and Macmillanite. Then they're incredibly wet on all the high modernist stuff. They endorse the Victoriana and the sort of twee bits of England, because not really threatening in any way. the same time of cases. It's the modern social democracy kind of thing.
How do you generally approach a new person that you've...
Well, going back to the previous point, is I try and establish this as what they're interested in and try and discuss it. And yes, hopefully there's some kind of area of history or food or politics, though politics is very dodgy when you're meeting strangers, or architecture or something, or travel, where they actually have a passion, there's something you can talk about.
And how do you approach new people?
I don't.
You don't?
No, well, but when I do it, it depends really. I sort of judge them very, very quickly. In the majority of cases, just decide that there's no point trying to talk to them about anything. So you just make small talk and talk about anodyne, inane things. On rare occasion, it's someone who might actually be interesting.
What makes somebody interesting for both of you? If you meet someone, initially you don't know if they have anything interesting to say, if they are on a similar wavelength in terms of intellectuality, or...
Generally, you don't meet people in a, you don't walk into an empty sort of, the 3D simulation, white room and see a person there and talk to them. That's not how you meet people.
Well, it's not The Sims.
Yeah, literally.
I say that, but you say that, but I've been to
generally.
events where it's kind of like that.
Sort of random parts of people you don't really know, that kind of thing.
Journalism mixers or something like that. You're just thrown into a room where, like...
Well, you've
the
been at
checks
events
have-
where you didn't know anybody. A friend of a friend. You might be
indeed.
sitting next to them. What makes them interesting? What do you notice about someone that instantly makes you think, not just I can match a subject to what they're interested in, but that they themselves are interesting?
That's the same thing.
I mean, it's they have to have broadcast some kind of thing that they have an interest in. That's the basic thing you're looking for. Yeah. I mean, going back to the root of the question, I think the thing that makes something interesting is having views and opinions with the exclusion of people whose views and opinions are just angry and unpleasant, which is a surprisingly large amount of people who haven't expressed an opinion. It's just they hate everything. And they hate everything in a very boring way.
Yes, I don't mind people hating everything. I do mind people being dull. Most people are dull.
Aren't they the same thing?
No.
I mean, aren't people who...
Peter Hitchens hates everything. He's not dull.
I don't like PT.
He's a bit dull, but he's just because
Peter
he hates
Hitchens
it.
is your personality
The
type.
fact that he hates
Similar mannerisms to Oliver.
don't care.
Because often you can see that somebody's
It's
personality
really not
type,
something I care about.
you can match to their... Why don't you care about that?
Why would I?
I find it
It just really
interesting.
doesn't
I mean,
matter.
like, if there are... What do you call it? There are 400 million people who presumably match my MBTI type. I share
Well, you
little-
have the most common type.
Okay, then
in
there
weird
are 800
societies.
million of them. Then it doesn't matter. There are still hundreds of millions of people who share my type, and so what? I don't feel it's not a tribe I particularly feel
Your type
attached.
has a reputation for being safe and boring. What do you say to this?
Maybe I'm safe and boring.
Your type has a reputation for arrogance. What do you say to this?
Well, I'm actually very humble.
And how do both of you view INTPs? To help you visualize this, obviously I'm INTP and Conrad, who you both know is INTP. He's a good friend of everybody's here. In comparison to yourselves, how do you see us?
I find it very annoying when people don't bring their keys, or forget their keys, or miss trains, or things like that.
Yes.
And they're just unreliable.
Disorganised, chaotic, unreliable.
What about our vibe?
Flashes of brilliance.
Do you not?
Flashes of brilliance in the context of, misery and very prone to addictions of all kinds. And yes, I'm deeply unreliable.
What about Elon Musk? Elon Musk's an INTP.
Yeah, all those exact same things apply to him.
You're both
precisely.
tech bros. Surely you approve of Elon Musk.
I'm a
We're
tech bro,
bros.
yes.
I'm the one who codes and likes systems. That's literally how these personalities work.
I can't code, but I can do maths.
Why did you become a physicist?
So I wouldn't have to write essays.
Really, I find you're quite spontaneous. Like you don't have the, but all ISTJs are like that. I don't know any boring ISTJs. Like usually I find you good, fun. So,
I mean, I've trained myself to deal in social situations. I mean,
do you agree with this? Do you think I'm secretly an extrovert?
Yes.
You're just so introvert you don't give a damn.
Why do you've said before that you think I'm extroverted? Why?
Why do I think you're? Because you're willing to do things in front of people. And
Yeah, so are a lot of people.
Yeah, but I think it's just because she's so introverted, she really just don't give a damn what they think. Which an extrovert wouldn't. An extrovert would care about what other people think generally.
Do either of you feel yourselves to be more introverted than the average person that you meet?
I think so. Yes.
In England, not really.
What about in Italy?
Yes, usually. Often.
I mean, I think I'm mild introvert, not spectacularly so. Agree with you on that.
I think a lot of people aren't. In a way that's very, very sort of dispiriting and makes you doubt whether they're actually fully human.
Yes.
It's like, you know, what's life like if you don't look around? You see
I
nothing,
like
really.
the phrase that teenagers are now using, NPC.
Yeah, no, that's quite good. I've got a good one actually. Yeah.
You do meet people and just think like you are clearly just doing what functions are expected of you and not seeming to think about it. Yeah.